You leave the house every morning. The door closes. And for the next 8 hours, you have no idea what your dog does. Until now. Researchers placed cameras in the homes of hundreds of dogs and watched everything. What they found changed how scientists think about the inner life of dogs left alone. And some of it will break your heart a little. But one thing they discovered about what happens in the first 5 minutes after you leave is something every dog owner needs to know. There are 5 distinct phases your dog goes through every single time you leave. The first 4 are fascinating, but the 5th one, what your dog does in the hour before you come home, is the one that will change how you think about your dog forever. The moment the door closes, your dog's world changes completely. Researchers who monitored dogs' cardiac activity during separation found something that still surprises people when they hear it. In the first minutes after an owner leaves, a dog's heart rate rises measurably. Their cortisol levels begin to climb, their body enters a mild stress response. Not because they're in danger, not because something frightened them, because you left. Video studies conducted in dogs' own homes documented what happens in those first critical minutes. Most dogs go immediately to the door. They sniff along the bottom of it, reading the last traces of your scent, confirming you were just here, trying to understand where you went. Some dogs whine, some pace, some circle the space where you were standing moments ago. And then, in most dogs, something shifts. Within the first 5 to 10 minutes, the majority of dogs without separation anxiety begin to settle. Not because they stopped caring that you left, but because their brain starts a process that researchers describe as active coping, an adjustment to the new reality of being alone. The first phase is not about what your dog does, it's about what your dog feels in those quiet minutes when the house is suddenly completely different. Here's what surprises most people. After that initial adjustment, most dogs sleep. A 2021 video-based study that filmed dogs in their own homes during owner absence found that the majority of dogs showed low physical activity and low vocal activity throughout the period of being alone. They weren't pacing. They weren't destroying things. They weren't barking for hours. They were resting. This is not boredom. This is not depression. This is the polyphasic sleep pattern we covered in our video on why dogs sleep so much. Their ancient biology conserving energy exactly as it was designed to do. But here's the detail that matters. Where they rest and how tells you something profound about who they are. Most dogs, when left alone, choose to sleep in one of 2 places, either the spot where their owner was last sitting or sleeping, absorbing the remaining scent, staying close to the person even in their absence, or directly in front of the door, waiting in the most literal physical sense for you to come back. Your dog isn't wandering randomly around the house. They're staying close to you, in every way still available to them. Now here's where it gets interesting. Most of a dog's time alone is quiet, but dogs don't spend that time completely switched off. They are, even while resting, monitoring. Research has confirmed that dogs maintain a state of what behaviorists call passive vigilance during owner absence. Their ears continue processing sound, a noise outside, a car that sounds like yours, a footstep in the hallway. And when something significant happens, when the environment changes, dogs respond. The most documented response is what researchers call alert behavior. The dog lifts its head, orients toward the sound, waits, assesses, and then, in most cases, returns to rest. But some sounds produce a different response entirely. The sound of your specific car, the sound of your specific footsteps. Researchers have documented that dogs can distinguish their owner's vehicle from other similar vehicles, their owner's footsteps from those of strangers, often reacting to these sounds. Before the owner has even turned onto their street, dogs left alone are not passive. They are quiet, resting, but attuned, processing, waiting for the specific signal that means everything is about to change. Let's talk about something that every dog owner has experienced, and most have completely misunderstood. You come home, your dog did something, chewed something, got into something, made a mess, and when you walk in, they look guilty. Head low, ears back, eyes wide, body slightly hunched. You assume they know what they did. You assume the guilty look is an admission. Here's what the research actually says. Studies, including a landmark experiment by Alexandra Horowitz at Columbia University, found that the guilty look in dogs is not a response to what they did. It is a response to how you look when you walk in. When owners were told their dog had misbehaved, even when the dog had done nothing wrong, the dog still displayed guilty behavior. And when owners were told their dog had been good, even when the dog had actually misbehaved, the guilty look was largely absent. The dog is reading you. The moment you walk through the door, they assess your body language, your facial expression, your energy, and they respond to what they see. They are not confessing. They are responding with extraordinary perceptiveness to your emotional state, which means the guilty look you've been interpreting as acknowledgement of wrongdoing is actually something more remarkable. It's your dog reading you so precisely that they know something is wrong before you've said a single word. And now, the phase I mentioned in the very first seconds of this video, the one that changes everything. What happens in the hour before you come home? Here's what the cameras found. Approximately 30 to 60 minutes before an owner typically returns home, dogs begin to change their behavior. They become more alert. They move closer to the door. They check the door more frequently. They are anticipating your return, not reacting to it. Anticipating it. Researchers believe dogs use a combination of circadian rhythm, their internal biological clock, and environmental cues to track the passage of time during owner absence. A 2011 study found that dogs' behavior changed systematically as separation duration increased, their patterns shifting in ways consistent with time perception. But here's what makes this genuinely extraordinary. The primary cue researchers now believe dogs use to anticipate owner return is not the clock. It's not sound. It's not a learned pattern. It's scent. As the hours pass, the concentration of your scent in the house gradually decreases. Your smell fades from the air, from the furniture, from the spaces you occupied. And researchers theorize that dogs track this fading using the diminishing concentration of your scent as a kind of olfactory clock. As your scent fades to a certain threshold, they know you're almost home. Your dog isn't waiting randomly. They are counting down in the only currency available to them, the fading trace of you in the air. So what do you do with this? First, understand that your departure affects your dog more than your return. The moment you leave is the hardest moment, not because your dog suffers all day. Most dogs settle relatively quickly, but because that initial adjustment costs them something. Keep your departures calm and brief. Long emotional goodbyes amplify the transition and make it harder for your dog to settle. Second, your dog is not destroying things out of revenge or spite. Destructive behavior when left alone is almost always anxiety, boredom, or insufficient exercise before departure. It is never malicious. Understanding this changes how you respond to it and how you prevent it. Third, the guilty look is not guilt. It is your dog reading you with extraordinary precision the moment you walk through the door. The most useful response is not punishment, which your dog cannot connect to something that happened hours ago. The most useful response is to walk in calmly, regardless of what you find. And fourth, your dog spends every hour of your absence oriented toward your return, not sleeping through it, not indifferent to it, counting down the fading of your scent, waiting for the moment that means everything to them. Every time you leave the house, your dog goes through something real, a spike in heart rate at the sound of a closing door, a vigil at the place where your scent is strongest, hours of quiet monitoring, never fully switching off, a guilty look that isn't guilt, it's something closer to genius, and a countdown measured in the fading of your smell to the moment you come back. You are the most important thing in your dog's day. Not the walk, not the food, not the toy. You. And every single day, they wait for you. Subscribe to Good Dog Science, and next week, we're going to talk about something that happens the moment you walk back through that door that your dog has been preparing for since the minute you left. See you then.